We're back. This time we're taking a look at the USS Constellation. It's a prize package for the Doomsday Machine OP event. This one's not actually mine. It's on loan from the shop that I play at, and it's one of their prizes for the event, so I didn't punch out the tokens, but we do have everything here, so we'll take a look at what we got. Here we have our Constitution class maneuver card. Pretty standard cookie cutter card that everything uses nowadays, with the exception of the 2 reverse on there. The 3 hard turns in red, which is kind of odd for a ship of this size. It's very small, so you'd think it would have more maneuverability, but it's nothing too major. Has those 2 hard turns in there, and the standard green in there as well. Here we have our named USS Constellation. 3 attack, 1 agility, 4 hull, 3 shield, 2 weapon upgrades, 2 crew upgrades for 22 points. Evasive target lock, scan, and battle station, standard Federation layout. And our named ability is, if all your shields have been destroyed when attacking with your primary weapon, you may gain +2 attack dice. If you do so, place an auxiliary power token beside your ship. You cannot roll any defense dice during the round in which you use this ability. It's a decent ability, not quite as nice as the TOS Enterprise's ignore auxiliary power tokens, but an extra +2 attack dice, putting you up to a 5 primary weapon value in exchange for losing that 1 evade that you get. Not too bad, especially if you're not in a fire arc where somebody can return fire, or if your shield's already down, means you're already taking fire, you might be at the point where you're about to die anyway, and those 2 extra attack dice might help you get the killing blow on the ship that's shooting at you to take it out before it takes you out. Then we have our generic Constitution class. Using 1 shield and 1 weapon upgrade for 20 points. Not sure if these are the same loadout as the generic Constitutions we already have. Didn't compare it, so you'll have to check those out for yourself. For captains, we have Matt Decker. Captain skill of 3, 1 elite talent for 2 points. If this card is assigned to a Federation ship during the roll attack dice step, you may disable this card and gain +1 attack die for that attack. If your ship is destroyed, you may immediately target a friendly ship within range 1 to 2 of your ship. If you do so, discard the captain card from that ship. This card becomes the captain for that ship. Very interesting, kind of thematic for the episode that the ship is from and he's from. Combines well with the named version of the ship here, where you can get that auxiliary power token and lose your defense to gain +2 dice. You can also disable him on top of that to gain an extra die. Really make a nice attack out of it. His ability to swap places with another captain if his ship's destroyed is interesting. Don't know how useful it is, as a captain skill of 3 on a Federation ship is kind of low unless you're playing a scenario specific or theme timeline or whatever specific game. Then it might be more useful, but still an interesting captain. Then we have our generic Federation captain. Captain skill of 1 for 0 points. Our elite talent for this pack is standby battle stations, 4 points. During the combat phase, you may discard this card to replace 1 token that's beside your ship, either evasive or scan, with a battle station token. This card may only be purchased for a ship that has battle station icon on its action bar. Very limited for the 4 points. Not sure I would actually use this. There's so many better elite talents out there for around the same points value. Being able to swap a evasive or scan for a battle stations. Battle stations is definitely a useful ability, but at the same time means you took one of the other abilities first. Possibly if you're using this on this ship as like a sealed type pack, and you're using that captain skill 3, you might want to take evasive. If you're not shot at and you don't use it, then you can convert it over. I can see it being useful in respects like that, but 4-point discard to just swap a token out. There's other ways to do that that are much more points effective in my opinion. For crew upgrades, we have damage control party. Why is it not damage control team? 5 points. As an action, discard this card to repair 1 damage to your ship's hull or shields, or as an action, disable this card to flip over a critical damage that's assigned to your ship face down. Very nice. Always nice to have things to repair. Always nice to have things that can flip criticals over. Cost of an action and a disable is okay for the crit thing. The action and the discard to repair is way too steep at 5 points for what it does. There's other things out there like Scotty who do the same thing, only better. I just can't see paying 5 points to be honest, to do either. At least flipping the critical over can save you in the right situation. Repairing a single hull at a discard seems silly. Almost wonder if those weren't supposed to be reversed and repairing was supposed to be the disable, flipping over to critical was supposed to be the discard. That would make more sense, but other than that, it's kind of a hit or miss thing. Repairing is good, but I think there's better options. Next we have automated distress beacon. 3 points. You can fill a crew slot, tech slot, or weapon upgrade slot with this card. No ship may be equipped with more than one automated distress beacon. As an action, discard this card and target a ship that is not within range 1 to 3 of your ship. The target ship immediately performs an additional maneuver with a speed 2 straight banker turn. Basically lets you bring your other ship closer. Extra maneuverability is kind of nice. Action plus a discard plus 3 points to do it. It's very situational. It can go in any slot, which is nice, so you can squeeze it into a build if you need it. But as much as I like extra maneuverability, I just think that the chances your two ships are going to be more than range 3 apart and actually need this are pretty slim, except in some extreme situations or certain scenarios. So it kind of limits it even further. Next we have auxiliary control room for 5 points. You may fill a tech slot or a weapon upgrade slot with this card. No ship can be equipped with more than one auxiliary control room. You can disable this card to perform an action while there is an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Kind of the way to skirt around the ability that the original Enterprise had, and this one, other Constitution class ship here is missing. There's lots of ways to get auxiliary power tokens, even the named ship's ability. But this lets you still perform an action while you have that. Granted, it's a disable. That means it's reusable, but at the same time, you're disabling this, which means you still can't re-enable this while you have the auxiliary power token. So you're only going to be able to do it once, but that may be all you need to get yourself out of a bad situation or make use of what you have to attack or whatever to get that action in, to do whatever you need to, and then use your turns later to re-enable this, to get rid of your auxiliary power and whatnot. For the rest of the expansion, like I said, I haven't punched out any of the tokens, but we have our captain tokens for our generic and named captain. We have 1 shield token, despite the fact that the ship uses 2. Really like how they're cheesing out on these things. They are trying to include something, I guess, not to waste some cardboard on there, but there's other things they could have put on there instead. We didn't get an evasive token. We didn't get a target lock token, as we haven't recently in any of the ships. We didn't get a scan token. We didn't get a battle station token. We didn't get the other shield token we need for the ship. We do get a reminder token for the named ship's ability, and then our dial here. And as always, recently we've gotten the pegs to the dial attached to each other, so you're guaranteed to get 1 male and 1 female, and not 2 of the same one. Like we used to get a lot in the past, and then people couldn't put their dials together. It was really annoying. It happened to me twice, and a friend of mine a couple times. Much nicer that they're doing that. And then we have our ship token on here. And there we have our named ship's base token. 180-degree front arc like the other Constitution classes. No rear arc. And again for the generic. I said this in the video for the OP event, and I'm going to post it again in here. I understand that they're trying to cut costs, especially on the ships that we have tons and tons of multiples of. I really don't mind not getting the tokens as much. We all have tons of those. It's not a big deal. The ship, on the other hand, you're not getting the base, which some people use them for customization projects, other things. Still not a huge deal, because a lot of us bought the colored bases and whatnot and have plenty of extras laying around. Not a huge issue, but still a cheap cop-out. Not getting the ship in this situation is extremely hurtful. because not only did the original TOS Enterprise model suck, that came out in Wave 1, I think it was, or 2, way back when, might even have been in Wave 0, and it's extremely difficult to come by now. Most places are sold out and can't get it back in stock, so anybody who doesn't already own one can't get the ship to use the model to use this ship, even if they win one. The only other Constitution class ship that we've gotten was the USS Intrepid, which is an OP prize ship that not everybody won, so not everybody has that model to use for it as well. Eventually they're going to reprint these. I've seen word already, either coming late this year or early next year. They're reprinting a lot of the popular out-of-print expansion packs, probably with some updates and things in there as well. So the model is going to come out again, but being that this one is so hard to come by, anybody who wins the ship and doesn't already own one is going to have a hell of a time trying to actually get the ship to use the prize that they won for the event. I completely understand the last event with the Dideridex class. We all have tons of those laying around. If you buy the starter set, which you pretty much have to buy to play because it comes with the rules and the templates and everything, you have a Dideridex model. Most people early on bought 2 starter sets, so you have an extra one of those laying around. Not to mention any one of the numerous releases, prize packs, blind boosters, and everything else that had the Dideridex class in it. But the Constitution class is a lot more limited, a lot harder to come by. It's just really annoying that they didn't include a ship with this. And I know a lot of people that were expecting a ship in here just for the fact that they wanted an updated model, since the TOS Tiny Prize thing was such a terrible model to start with. So get that out there. It's really annoying that they keep going cheap on these packs, and they're cutting back on what they give us and cutting back on what they give us. They cut out all the tokens on there. They cut out the figures on there. They made the Doomsday Machine template out of paper instead of cardboard. Things like that. The previous couple OP events didn't even come with any scenario pieces. Yet at the same time, they're not cutting costs on buying these OP kits for the venues who buy these events to run them. If you're going to put less in there and make things cheaper quality, at least lower the price so that the venues running the thing aren't paying the same and getting less out of it. That's Wizkids, though. I doubt they're going to change. It's the way they go with everything. So, sorry for my long rant there. I'll get back on subject now. Anyway, the pack itself is a pretty standard average ship. Good as far as the Federation goes. Excellent in scenario play or timeline play if you're playing from the era the ship came from. Very nice. Nothing spectacular out of the upgrades, but lots of useful stuff and a good addition to any Federation fleet. Anyway, that's it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.